Hi there, I'm Rex King. Welcome back to another episode where I review films currently in theaters. Today, I am talking about Hypnotic. Hypnotic is the latest film from Robert Rodriguez. It stars Ben Affleck as a cop whose daughter gets kidnapped, and while he's investigating these bank robberies, he finds a photo of his daughter in one of the safety deposit boxes, leading him to believe there's a connection between the bank robberies and his missing daughter. However, the gentleman who's leading these bank heists, played by William Fincher, is able to control people's minds just by talking to them, saying certain phrases, and looking them directly in the eye because he is something called a hypnotic. So now, Ben Affleck's character has to team up with another character played by Alice Braga, who's also a hypnotic, in order to find out what this mysterious connection this guy has to his daughter. Now, this film, I went into it not knowing very much. I read the basic plot description and I saw one trailer, one point, like a couple weeks back. Um, I'll be honest, it was kind of a letdown. The story here is very intriguing on paper, but it's two very different stories fighting against each other almost. We have the cop who just wants to find his daughter, and then we have this much larger conspiracy involving a group of people who have the ability to manipulate people just by looking into their eyes and saying certain phrases. Now, both of these stories on their own might have potential for an hour and a half film. Together, they are kind of a mess, as neither story wins out over the other. We have the cop story where he's trying to find his daughter is fine. It might be interesting. I've seen stories like that 100 times over. They tried to add this hypnotic element to try to up the ante, but to be honest, I found the hypnotic stuff a lot more interesting and would have liked to just focus on an entire story on that alone. But they really didn't do that. They kept trying to go back to, we need to find this guy's daughter, and tried to tie it in with the hypnotic stuff, but just it felt forced at times. Until a certain point in the film where they start to try to blend a little bit, but it still is like these are two really different stories still combating against each other. Not only that, but this film is hinging on a couple big surprises that, I'll be honest, I kind of saw coming. I predicted the surprises scenes before they happened. I was able to figure out where this film was going pretty quickly and pretty easily. I know I'm kind of good at that sometimes, but I felt this film was really predictable for a film that was hinging so hard on this big twist that I saw coming a mile away. The characters are also just not interesting. The cop is your standard, I want to find my daughter cop. He's basically every Liam Neeson character ever, except he's being played by Ben Affleck. The character played by Alice Braga isn't really developed. She's kind of the one who leads us into the hypnotic world, but again, that world isn't as fully explored or fleshed out as I would like it to be. Honestly, the only character I found interesting was William Fincher's character. I really liked this villainous character. He really felt like a huge threat. And that's partially probably because of William Fincher's performance. I thought he stole the show in this film. He was very menacing. He plays this type of character really well. And he really stole every scene he was in. Ben Affleck and Alyssa Braga do a good job as well. None of the actors are doing anything bad here. They're just not giving anything incredible to work with, which is kind of unfortunate. The visual style is another missed opportunity. We have these weird hypnotic imageries. The best way I can describe it is basically this film is trying to be Inception at times, and it just isn't quite there to the level that Inception was, but it's still pretty okay when they do it. It's just unfortunate that they don't do it a whole lot. Most of the visuals are just fine cinematography. The action's decently shot. It's just, I really wish they had more of this weird hypnotic imagery or this weird like bending imagery of like reality, so we wouldn't know what was real, what was going on. I really would have liked that, but I do enjoy what we get. I just wish there was a little bit more to go with. The score was done by Rebel Rodriguez. It's fine. It's intense at the right moments. Uh, there are a few times where I felt like they were building up to something that just didn't pan out. I think the score is moderately okay. I wouldn't listen to it on its own, but I think it does the job it needs to do. At the end of the day, guys, Hypnotic is a real disappointment. I really didn't enjoy this one. I felt it was generic. I felt it was boring. I felt it was long-winded. We have two different story ideas competing with each other, and it's building up to twists that I saw coming a mile away. At the end of the day, Hypnotic is just not good enough to hold my attention, so I am going to give the film a 3 out of 10. This isn't the worst movie, and I'm not hating on it that much, but there's just too many flaws for me to overlook, and I really feel like they should have sat down and fleshed out that story a lot more, because if you did, I think this film could have had something. But it just didn't. So, 3 out of 10. Anyway, that's what I thought about Hypnotic. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.